in 1 Corinthians 9, I'll split it in two because it's long. It's just verse 1 to 2. It just says, I am your apostle. Am I not free? I'm your apostle, and not to others. Verse 3, this is my defense to those who sit in judgment on me. Don't we have the right to food and drink, to get paid for his apostleship, but not millions, of course. Don't like today. Don't we have the right to take of the unbelieving our unbelieving wife with us? You criticize us of that too? Or is it only I and Barabbas who must work for a living and not get paid? So why are you criticizing us for our ministry? Who serves as a soldier at his own expense? Who plants a vineyard and does not eat of its grapes? Who tends a flock and does not drink of the milk? Do I say this merely for a human point of view? Doesn't the law, the Old Testament law of Moses, either way, it's everything, but it says of him, of preachers, do not muzzle of an ox, a metaphor, while it is treading the grain, meaning he has a right to his pay for being a minister, because that's all he does. Not millions, but, right? Okay, is it about oxen that God cares about? No, he cares about humans. Surely he says this for us, preachers, doesn't he? God, and through Moses. In that quote, yes, this is written for us because when the plowman plows and the thresher threshes, they ought to do so in hope of sharing the harvest in the harvest. If we have sown spiritual seed among you, is it too much to make it Christians? If we reap a material harvest from you, if others have this right of support from you, shouldn't we have it all the more? Because they did so much work for them to be Christians. But we did not use this right. On the contrary, they actually worked on top of that. Okay. On the contrary, we put up with everything rather than hinder the gospel of Christ. Don't you know that those who work in the temple get their food from the temple, and those who serve at the altar share in what is offered at the altar? In the same way, the Lord has commanded that those who preach the gospel should receive their living from the gospel, but not millions and millions of dollars. Okay, verse 15. But I have not used any of these rights. In other words, he went and worked too, to boot. And I am not writing this in the hope that you will do such things for me. He's not even expecting it. I would rather die than have anyone deprive me of this boast. He uses it as ace in his hand, or as a boast, in a manner of speaking. You know what I mean? Yet when I preach the gospel, I cannot boast. I don't have time for that, for I am compelled to preach the gospel. You know what I mean? That's what I'm worried about. Woe to me if I do not preach the gospel. If I preach it voluntarily, you know what I mean? And I am simply discharging the trust committed to me. You know what I mean? Well, what then is my reward? Just this. I mean, he doesn't even expect money. He'll go and work like he did on top of the ministry for his own money, on top of his preaching. Well, what is then my reward? Just this, that in preaching the gospel I may offer it free of charge. He just said this, and so not make use of my rights in preaching it. Okay, so he went above and beyond. Okay, bye.